Welcome, gamers, to the Retro Raider channel. Today I'm going to rank the Ratchet and Clank games. Um, this is only my opinion, of course. I don't think I'm going to say anything too controversial in this video, but I mean, it's alright to disagree, it's alright to agree. Just keep it civil. This is just based on my own personal experiences, and yeah, so I'm gonna start out with the first game. Um, to be honest, this game was like extremely impactful to me. The story is easily the best, in my opinion, of the entire series. Dude, the characters, oh my God, Drek, everything. I love the planets. Like the weapons were a little bit simple. I mean, especially compared to the other games, but they were still fun. Um, yeah, just loved all the characters. I mean, something that the remake lacked was like the cool characters in every planet and stuff like that. It was missing a lot. But yeah, this game is I don't know. It's amazing, but I still think the gameplay isn't as good as most of the sequels. I think that the gameplay was still in a pretty primitive state. There was no strafing. Yeah, like I said before, the weapons were pretty simple compared to the other ones, but I'm gonna still say it's an amazing game. It's got iconic planets like Kerwan. Um, the music, oh my God, the music, man, it's awesome. Uh, I still remember like the game being so hard when I first played it that I had to like find a way to cheat through some levels. And it wasn't like I was using like a Game Shark. It was just because like the game was so hard that I had to like figure out like my own little exploits and just memories like that really cement this game as like one of my favorites. But still, just because the gameplay is a little bit more primitive, I'm gonna have to put it an A. But don't let that like take anything away from the game's quality because I still think it's an excellent experience. But S tier is just like the best of the best of the best, of course. So moving on to the second game in the series, Ratchet and Clank, up not up your arsenal, going commando, of course. Well, okay. To begin, I think the story's not as good as the first one, but I still think it's like pretty memorable. It's still pretty good. It like takes place after they're already heroes and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of people on the internet said that the story was pretty patched together, and I'm sure it was. But just like I enjoyed it a lot. I love the personalities. I remember like the little blue the creatures that would like throw up and spit like other ones out. They're like the fuzzy. I don't remember what they're called, but they're absolutely awesome. They're just that like level where they were all like storming the city at the end of the game was so hard when I first played it. Absolutely was just like impossible to me. I mean, obviously when I played it a few times over, it was a lot easier, but just for that first initial experience, it really left a mark on me. Just like the music in the game is still incredible. Absolutely love the characters still. I mean, the story wasn't as good as the first one, but I would still put it up there. But it's just that gameplay, man. It was the first game that added the leveling up system. I mean, in the first game you could use gold bolts, but like just by using the weapons in the second game you could upgrade the weapons. And honestly, I don't know. I think it's an S tier just because of like the excellent gameplay, absolutely amazing gameplay, and the story was still really, really good. And so, yeah, for that reason, I'm putting an S. I mean, a lot of people would disagree with me, but just personally, I think it is an excellent, excellent game. And yeah, so going to the third one, shit, okay. The first time I played it, I thought it was easily my favorite in the series. But when I came back to it, second and third time, I kind of realized, like some of the, like pretty lame level design, not lame level design, just kind of like, some spots of the game that weren't as like well polished as like well designed as other parts. Like when you're fighting with those rangers and like those multiplayer maps and you have to like play the missions, and you would kind of go on to do stuff like that like the whole game in Gladiator, but it just didn't feel as inventive. Yeah, it's hard it's kind of hard to explain. It just didn't mesh well. Obviously that was as a result of a lot of crunch time. Like they had a year to ship out the game, so a lot of corners were cut to get it out. And it's still excellent. I love Dr. Nefarious, love those characters, the Galactic Rangers, the Starship Phoenix, very, very nostalgic, very memorable, absolutely excellent. But I love Courtney Gears. Dang, man, that was awesome. But I'm gonna just say because of the like lacking level design in some areas, maybe, oh, another thing I really disliked was that when you in the first two games, every time you'd go to a planet, there'd be a holotape video that would like flesh out the world and story. And they did that for like the first two levels in the third game, but it was just like they cut little corners like here and there, that just kind of made the game not as iconic. But to a lot of people, it is their favorite game in the series, and I definitely don't like hate on them or like whatever the word is for that. But I'm gonna still say I'd put it in the A tier just because of like some of those level designs. So on to Deadlocked. Okay. Originally when I first played it, I was like, man, Deadlocked isn't as good. I mean, I was in fifth grade, so I don't know. But after replaying it, the game is so satisfying to play, and the story is still pretty entertaining. Like, not even gonna lie. Um, the story is still very entertaining and it was very interesting. And I don't know, again, not as many characters. I mean, like the Ace Starlight and stuff like that. I love Juanita and the other guy, Dallas. I'm pretty sure that's what his name was. I mean, they'd get kind of annoying. They'd be like, the gelatin's definitely jiggling, or they like, oh, who parked uh in my like parking space or whatever. Like he would just kind of say stuff like that over and over and over and over again while you're playing. But it wasn't actually that bad. But the game itself is so satisfying to play. Um, it just like I just found myself recently just replaying it and not even like thinking about, not even realize how much fun I was having, like for serious. Obviously there aren't very many like any creative level designs anywhere to be found. It's just kind of like shooting arenas over and over and over again, but just there's something about that loop that's just so satisfying. I don't think there's as much heart in this game as the other ones, but there still is like a lot of good charm or whatever the however you say it. And honestly, I have to put this one in A tier as well, just because it is just so much fun to play, even if it isn't like as good as like the other ones. But I still put it in A tier just because of how satisfying the gameplay is. So here we got Size Matters. Okay, haven't even beaten this game, but I have played like a good amount of it a long time ago on the PSP. And to be honest, I remember like even then like realizing that the controls were pretty I don't know, they just weren't as slick. I mean, obviously it was made by a different company, so that you kind of come to expect that, but the story was not memorable in any way. I remember there was like a little girl character that was like evil or something, but honestly, I can't remember anything about the story at all. I remember the guns weren't that good. Um, I don't know. At just some point, I kind of just got bored of the game and stopped playing it. I'm sure there are like some good aspects to it, but and I mean, obviously it's a portable game and on the PSP, so it doesn't have as much going for it, I guess. Like your expectations should be lower for a PSP game. But I just remember the game being pretty bland. It wasn't bad, but it was just kind of like generic and lame. So I mean, I could put it in the D tier, but for now I'll just put it in the C tier. So I haven't played the PS2 port. I haven't played Secret Agent Clank either, so I will not put that in there. So Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction. Okay. I like this game a lot. I mean, the graphics are kind of weird looking, like the character designs and stuff. But honestly, like I hate Tachyon and like this whole like Lombax. I don't know. At least personally, I liked when the characters were just kind of nobodies that went to heroes. Like now that they have like this huge galactic like backstory, like they're like the most important, or I don't even know. I mean, honestly, it became more like generic. I was still enjoying it. I mean, I after playing it again, I still enjoy the game. I had some pretty fun levels, like back to the old kind of like cool. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, I mean, the character designs are a little bit weird. Like it's kind of like where Insomniac started like repeating the same like types of aliens across like the series. I mean, it's still really good and it's still really fun. Like it still looks pretty good. I mean, I was dogging on the graphics, but it actually when you're playing it in motion, it still really looks good. I like the pirates. I remember the weapons being good. I just remember Tachyon being really lame, like this like stupid guy who is like this whining like crybaby. And they just kind of instead of being like menacing or cool, like Dr. Nefarious or Drek or even Fizzwidget, he just I feel like yeah. And man, what I failed to mention in Ratchet and Clank 3 was like the really cool Cork arc or whatever the heck you want to call it. And I feel like in the future games, they kind of just start like forgetting about that, and he's just like this stupid loser. I don't even know why they put Cork in the game still, starting in this one. But I mean, obviously, I've been kind of being mean, but honestly, it is still a really good game, and it was still really fun. So I wouldn't put it as high as like Rack 1 or Rack 3 or Deadlock, but I'd still say I enjoyed it a lot, and yeah, so I'll put it in the B. And so here we got Quest for Booty, you know what I'm saying? Um, I mean, definitely was just kind of like a 2 hour long DLC level. It wasn't uh, that memorable. The trader guy, whatever the heck his name is, scavenger, I don't know, this like green alien dude. He just kind of like pops up in the middle of nowhere and he's like, "Oh, Clank, where are you?" I mean, I don't know if that's even spoilers, but I remember really liking the platforming where you're like climbing up the windmills, but after that, the game just kind of like starts to lose its direction and just kind of I don't even know. I don't even remember exactly what happens. I mean, I played it twice, but it's like I don't even remember exactly what happens. It definitely is better than Size Matters, but it just wasn't really that memorable, and it was it was too short to make like any lasting impression. Even though the beginning portions were pretty fun, so I'll put it in C tier, but I'll put it above Size Matters. All right, so how now we have A Crack in Time. Okay, so A Crack in Time is a pretty interesting game. Uh, a lot of people really, really, really love Crack in Time, and I still like enjoyed it a lot. I mean, obviously, how I'm saying it is like I don't know, but basically, shoot, okay. I very much enjoyed playing A Crack in Time. Uh, but to be honest, like they brought back Nefarious, which was pretty cool, but like I don't know. I mean, they like I don't know why they keep bringing back Nefarious over and over and over again. Um, the Clank puzzles were fun. I mean, there weren't that many, but they were like awesome. I love the puzzles in that game. So yeah, big fan of that, but the space was pretty limited. I mean, you could go to like cool different planets and do stuff, and I don't know, there were definitely like really cool parts of the game. Um, and I did like it more than Tools of Destruction. But again, like this whole Lombax story, like Owen Clank being like the maker of time, like it just I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of like the Chosen One, where like both these characters are like the most important people in the galaxy, like the whole universe, man. I don't really know, but it like when I first played it, I definitely was like, oh, this is awesome. But like after playing it again, it was just kind of like okay. Um, but I did like the ending, or like I liked how like Ratchet met like one of his like family members, Azimuth or something, and like Azimuth tries to kill him, and he's like, "No, we're gonna see the Lombax." I remember the ending being awesome of that game. So yeah, there definitely were really good parts, but I still like wouldn't say it's as good as like Rack 1, Rack 3, or Deadlock. But it was better than Tools of Destruction, so I definitely put it like high B tier, whatever you want to say, B plus. All for One, have not played that, but I've not heard very good things. I mean, nor have I heard good things about Secret Agent Clank. Okay, Full Frontal Assault, I've only played like 10 minutes of on the PS Now free trial. So I would definitely say never played on that one just because I played like so little of it. Yeah. So Into the Nexus. Okay, shoot, all right. Um, dang. I definitely really enjoyed Into the Nexus a lot. I loved like the space thing. I mean, obviously it was a future title or whatever, so like I mean, I don't know. I don't even think they brought up that much of like the future stuff. I think it was just like a pretty good self-contained story as far as I can remember with like different space features. The frame rate was really bad. I mean, I played it again pretty recently. The frame rate is was abysmal. I mean, to be honest, even though like it was like yeah, I don't know what happened, but yeah, the frame rate was really bad. The graphics didn't even look as good as a Crack in Time, so I don't know why the performance was so bad. And it was really short. Like the game was like 4 to 5 hours long, but I don't know. I mean, it was still pretty cool. It was like a self-contained story. It was definitely a good like $20 game to play in like a few afternoons or like one afternoon or whatever. I definitely still really like the game, but it's probably be at the like very end of B tier with right like below Tools of Destruction just because it was so short and because like the performance was pretty poor and I don't know, but it was still a pretty good game. So okay, so now we're getting to the freaking 2016 remake. Shoot, man, I'm gonna have to, dude, how many B's are there gonna be to be honest? Like holy crap. But yeah, this one's definitely I would say it'd be I love the gameplay. This is like probably the only Ratchet and Clank game I platinumed. I played it a bunch of times. I really like the cards and stuff. I mean, I did. It's not like the first feature you'd ask for, like what's new for Ratchet and Clank, but like a cards feature. But like, there's a lot of like really satisfying elements to the game. Like gameplay is extremely refined, of course, but bro, they butchered the characters, man. They absolutely like butchered the characters. But and, like I found myself kind of putting the game on mute when I was replaying it and just like watching like really long YouTube analysis videos and crap that I like to do. So yeah, but at the same time, the game is a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, it just tied in with that movie that was trash and the characters were trash. Drek, oh my God, Drek was so bad. They brought back Nefarious again. Oh, oh my God. So yeah, definitely I don't know. Definitely not that much of a fan of the story side, but the gameplay was so good that like shoot, I'm gonna have to put it I'm gonna definitely have to put it like right here. Uh Yeah, it's still really fun, obviously, but yeah, the story was kind of butchered, but it was an awesome game to play. And the graphics were good. They still hold up like almost 6 years later. Jesus Christ, dude. Oh my God. But yeah. So yeah. Um, never played mobile game. I have played Into the Nexus on the phone, but it's just a mobile game. It's garbage, okay? It was trash. It's like a never-ending mobile game runner or something like that. All right. So here we go. Here is Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart. So first off, okay, the crap they did with the PS5 with like the Dual Shock, Dual Sense controller, absolutely nutty, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, oh, absolute wicked. Okay, wicked stuff. The graphics, oh my God, dude, so good. I mean, obviously that doesn't make a game, but a beautiful, beautiful game to look at. Um, it wasn't everything I wanted it to be. Um, I mean, I guess it's stupid for me to say, but it's like with all this new power and stuff, like I definitely like, I don't know. I mean, it definitely didn't live up to like every expectation I had. Like the writing is still garbage. It's pretty childlike. I did like what's her name, the female Lombax. What was her name? Shoot, I'm just thinking of like Ratchet or something like that. I don't. Why can't I Rivet? That's okay. It's Rivet. I liked Rivet. I mean, honestly, it was cool how the game like made you play Rivet for like 60% of the time, but like it was still really fun. It didn't really take anything away from. I mean, obviously they butcher Ratchet, dude. Ratchet is like a shell, a complete shell of what he used to be. Like, not to say he was like this amazing like character, but man, he's absolutely nothing. Like he's just like a just like a bag. You know what I'm saying? Like they removed all of like his brain matter and he's just like kind of like the skull that's left. But so I mean obviously you're not really missing out on much when you switch over to like Rivet, which is just like another nice like blank person. Oh my God. But I'm dogging on the game, but it was cool. I like nefarious like the nefarious plays, like I like the alternate dimension. It was cool. I mean they don't do that much with the idea, but the SSD like loading between levels really fast was awesome. um yeah, I mean it dude, it was a game that like I just played over and over and over again. It was so much fun to play with like the controllers, the pop, 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 pop on the controllers, man, awesome. Like those, what I was, the adaptive triggers is what I was trying to say. It was just awesome. Like I played it over and over and over again. And then when you get all the gold bolts, you get all these like secret different modes. You could also do that in Ratchet and Clank 2016, but it was like opened up completely in this. So I would just turn on like unlimited ammo and just like mess around. It's like honestly, it was so cool. Like again, it wasn't like the longest game. It wasn't like the best game ever. It had some like pretty lame story elements, lame characters. I mean, you visited all these planets and there are like barely any characters, and they all go like, "Wow, I am very nice." Like they're just like nothing. Like they're not even characters, dude. They're so trash. That I feel like that like just got worse and worse as the series progressed. But to be honest, man, it's so much fun to play that like, and the story wasn't even that bad. It's yeah, it just was like kind of mediocre. Like it's kind of forgettable. But my favorite cutscene was the one where like Nefarious realized he won. Even though they brought Nefarious back, it wasn't bad. It was okay. Like I just really hope they never bring him back ever again. And yeah, bro. I mean, Ratchet's definitely juggling like seven different chicks. Um, at the moment, like how many girlfriends has he had that like no, I don't even know. I guess that's really stupid to say, but it's like holy crap. But yeah, it was awesome. It was a blast to play. Um, I mean, like would I put it over Deadlocked? I'm not sure. Just because Deadlocked had that like classic charm, that classic. I mean, I don't know. And I was kind of like on in the past or like after playing it, I was kind of like, man, this game's like kind of lame, but it was still awesome. But like now that I think about it, I mean, it had better like levels than Deadlock did. Even though the story is probably better in Deadlocked, I'd still say Deadlock's kind of like a side game, even though the gameplay was satisfying. Like honestly, for right now, I guess in my mind, I put it in here. I'd still put it in the A rank just because of how much fun and like the story is pretty decent. It's like okay, but just how much fun it is to play. Like these Insomniac games, man. Like the stories aren't the best, like the greatest things ever, but the gameplay is so good, so good in this game that I definitely put it in the A tier next to Rack 3, Rack 1. And so yeah, that's my rating. Soundtracks, oh, I kind of stopped mentioning the soundtracks, but yeah, after the original trilogy and Deadlocked, the soundtracks kind of got trash. I mean, just nothing I can remember. I remember yeah, just nothing. There's like really nothing that interesting about this. I remember the main theme songs of some of the games are pretty good after that in the future series. Like Into the Nexus had a pretty good theme song. But it's just like, yeah, there's literally no like nothing to it, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing memorable at all. But yeah, man, those old soundtracks are awesome, very influential on me as a musical artist. Okay, very, very cool. And yeah, I mean, yeah, the reason I did all this was just because just reminiscing back on the series, and I just think it's cool. And yeah, I don't really know if anyone's gonna watch this, but shoot, man, it's fun. I really like these games. I mean, not all of them, obviously, because yeah, and some of them are just like pretty good. You know, most of them aren't like amazing. Some of them are just pretty good. And a lot of people would disagree with me saying that like Going Commando is the best one. But yeah, that's just my thought process right now. I might play the games again, might switch them around. I don't really know. So, all right. But yeah, peace out. That was the Retro Raider. Peace.